welcome or welcome back to another video. If you are new here, hello and welcome. So if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that this video will actually be a postpartum / labor and delivery Q&A. I posted on my Instagram story asking what are some questions that new moms or just moms in general, expecting moms, have in regards to labor and delivery and postpartum. So I chose about, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 questions to go ahead and answer here for you guys. Just general questions, so to speak. So if y'all see me eating and drinking, don't mind me because I'm eating my hot and spicy salsa and I got my water. Okay, so question number 1, what should I bring to the hospital? In this question, they did not specify whether it was for mom or for baby, so I'm gonna answer for both, and hopefully that helps. So for mom, honestly, not much because the hospital provides everything for both you and baby, but what I would suggest, personally, shower shoes. I don't like to stand in the hospital showers with my bare feet, so shower shoes or Crocs or any pair of shoes that you're comfortable with getting wet, and some comfortable clothing. I did not care to wear the hospital gowns all the time, so I got a gown from Target or Walmart or any of that. You can get a gown from there and wear that if you like. Comfortable clothing to leave the hospital. If you were like me, I ended up going into the hospital in my night dress, my pajamas, whatever you want to call it. Wasn't the most acceptable outfit to wear leaving the hospital, considering I left at like 4 or 5 in the evening. So something comfortable to wear home. Other than that, not really much, you guys. Not for mom. For baby, onesies, if you'd like to. I didn't know my baby's size. He ended up being small, so I ended up needing preemie onesies. But that's really about it. Onesies and a going home outfit if you want to take pictures, a nice picture outfit. And some people swear by a boppy. I breastfeed without one, but that's, you know, kind of up to the individual if that's something that you want to get, but a boppy as well. Everything else they provide, and you're already billed for it anyway, so use it and take what you don't use while you're there home to use it then, because they're going to bill you either way. Next question I got is, how long is recovery? And that's a hard question to answer because it really depends, right? So there's vaginal deliveries and then there's cesareans or C-sections as we know it. And if you're medicated, if you tear, if you rip, you know, things like that kind of factor into the recovery process. It is said to be anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 weeks for recovery. Usually 6 for vaginal, 12 more so for cesarean. But again, it depends on the individual. Sometimes stitches can rip open. Sometimes giving birth, you can tear things, get cut or anything like that. So it really just depends on the person. That I cannot give a definitive answer to because it depends on the person. I gave birth 2 weeks ago. The day I came home from the hospital, I was up cooking, walking around, because that's just me. But again, depends on the person. The next question I got was breastfeeding or formula feeding. And I know this topic usually has all the moms in an uproar, right? Me personally, I'm not going to say breast is best, formula is best. For me, fed is best. A fed baby is a happy baby. A fed is best. End of day. I personally breastfeed. I choose to breastfeed. Now, for how long you choose to breastfeed is totally up to you. Every mom does not like breastfeeding. Every mom is not able to breastfeed, so there's formula. If you want to formula feed, I support it. I have a 1-year-old who I breastfed up until 6 or 7 months, and then formula fed until 1. It's really about what you're comfortable with, what the baby's comfortable with. If anyone's in daycare, if you're pumping, where you work, if you have the time, you know, like it's really just up to you, right? Fed is best. Not gonna say swing in either direction. Next question I got was short-term disability and FMLA. What do I do? How do I go about it? Things like that. So with short-term disability and FMLA, FMLA is Family Medical Leave Act. I believe I'm saying that right. Family Medical Leave Act. So that is, most jobs require that you be on the job for at least 1 year before you're able to use FMLA or short-term disability. So FMLA is your job basically guaranteeing you that for 6 weeks, your job is saved. Anywhere from 6 to 12, depending on the method of delivery, vaginal or cesarean. But they're guaranteeing that for that time period that you're out due to giving birth, they will hold your job and will not fire you, but it is not paid, right? It's not a paid leave. It's just a guarantee that your job will still be there once you return. So FMLA is an unpaid leave. And how long is dependent upon the state. So you have to find out from your state, speak to your HR department about what are the limits in your state in regards to FMLA, right? Right. So now that we have went over FMLA, short-term disability, as you'll see it abbreviated STD, short-term disability leave. Now, short-term disability leave is paid, right? It's usually paid up to 25 weeks. The first 6 weeks are paid at 100% of your pay, and then weeks 7 through 25 are 60% of your pay. Now, short-term disability does run with FMLA if you're over a year at your company. You can use FMLA so that it protects your job as well as short-term disability. Short-term disability alone will also protect your job if you've used your FMLA like previously in the year. Short-term disability will also protect your job. But if you haven't used FMLA, most jobs will activate both for you. So short-term disability is paid. Again, it all depends on what your doctor says, your recovery time and things like that for how long you may be out. The minimum in my state is 6 weeks. I'm in Florida. It may not be the same for everyone. For other states, it may be different. And I also gave birth vaginally. So again, that, 6 weeks is what my doctor gave for me. Now that can change if I get there and let's say I had a setback or anything like that. But that's what I have. Also look into other benefits at your job. My job offers parental leave outside of short-term disability and FMLA. I cannot use it at the same time, but I am also given those benefits. So my job offers an additional 6 weeks of leave. I can choose to leave it, or choose to use it right after my 6 weeks of short-term disability to be out for a total of 12 weeks, or I can split my 6 weeks up during the year. I'm choosing to split them up during the year because I work from home. But again, look into those benefits. Some of the larger companies that I know of, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, even insurance companies, healthcare companies, a lot of them also have parental leaves that run outside of short-term disability and things like that as well. So look into that. Again, reach out to your HR department. Make sure you speak with your doctor, get all your forms together and everything that's needed ahead of time to make sure that you have your leave prepared. Now, what I did, even though babies do come whenever they want to, I had my doctor fill out my papers for my due date. So let's say my due date was January, mid-January sometime. So what I had my doctor do was fill out my papers stating that my first day of leave would be my due date, right? So starting from my due date up until 6 weeks after that is the time that I requested to take off. Now, I gave birth early. So all I had to do was call and say, hey, that date needs to be changed because I gave birth early. My doctor signed my forms confirming that I gave birth early. And that was the end of that. You do have to sign a medical release form only in regards to birth. So they will ask for birth records from the hospital, not a birth certificate or anything like that, but those discharge papers from the hospital that says this person gave birth on this day. That is all that they're asking for. So again, make sure you do that as soon as possible. you know, to prevent you from not getting paid or anything like that when it comes to your leave. Let me see. The next question I got was things to look out for postpartum. To my knowledge, swelling that's abnormal, a lot of bleeding, blood clots, fainting, things like that. But again, it depends on the delivery type, and your doctor will kind of let you know. But from my knowledge, if you're fainting, passing out, seizures, a lot of blood loss, because you will lose blood obviously after delivering, whether cesarean or vaginal, because the placenta has separated. So you're going to bleed. But if it's clotting, like huge clots and things like that, like I believe they said like the size of an egg, you should go in. But you know, I'm not a medical professional, so if you think that you're having a symptom that is abnormal, call your doctor, go to the hospital. That's really all I can say on that particular question. I received a question that says, any postpartum tips? My postpartum tips to you guys would be, prepare meals ahead of time. Get gallon-sized Ziploc bags. Like, let's say if it's beef stew, go ahead and pre-clean your meats, cut it up, put it in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag with your peppers and everything else that you put in it, peppers, onions, whatever. Season it, pre-season it, whatever, and throw it in the freezer. Same thing with like chicken noodle soups or things like that. Pre-make it, throw it in the freezer, so that when you do have the baby, you can take that same freezer bag full of pre-made meals and throw it in a crock pot. It's so much easier than trying to get up, clean meat, and make a whole meal while being sleep deprived from a newborn, and you know, just not even having the full energy. You're trying to recover, you want to recover peacefully as much as possible. So pre-make as much as you can. Even if you go ahead and cook it ahead of time and freeze it, to my knowledge, it's still good. If you cook it, freeze it same day, you can take that same chicken noodle soup or whatever back out, throw it in a crock pot, heat it up, everybody eats. That's one tip I would say. Another tip that I would say for postpartum, moms, try to get everything for yourself ahead of time, and try to stock up, right? Because you don't want to be running out and running into stores and things like that when you really don't have to, especially with a small baby, and depending on where you live and at what time you give birth, in the cold or in bad weather. For us right now, it has been in the 40s. I go outside simply to get my kids to school and back home, but that's really about it. If I do grab food, it's something that I ordered curbside and they're going to bring it to me, but I try to avoid the stores at all costs, because my baby is obviously small and I really don't want to be out like that, except for doctor's appointments and things that I know like I need to be at. Final question that I got. The most interesting question. Balancing being a mom of multiple kids. If you know, if you've been following my channel, watching my videos, I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 1-year-old, and now a newborn. How do I balance? I try to, like right now, everyone is asleep. So during this time is my time that I pull out school uniforms, get book bags made. Fortunately, my kids prefer to eat lunch and breakfast at school. They do go to a green school where they cook everything fresh. So, you know, they actually like their school food. So I don't have to do like lunch boxes, but I try to do everything at night while everyone is sleeping. And I try to do it by multiple days. So on Monday, I'll pull out uniforms and clothes for Monday through Wednesday. We do homework. I have multiple children, so I will pick a day for each child to do homework, and I will work with them. I have 2 kindergartners, so they do their homework on the same day, but my older child is in 2nd grade, so he does his homework on a separate day. That kind of keeps me sane a little bit balanced. What else? Baby boy sleeps pretty good. You may hear him now because he's probably about to wake up for a feeding, but he sleeps pretty good during the day. So during the day, while everyone is in school, because my 1-year-old does go to daycare, I try to get meals prepared. So if I know what I'm making for dinner, by the time I come home from dropping everybody off at school, I'll start getting things made. I won't cook dinner at 7 o'clock in the morning, obviously, but around like 2:30, before I go to get everyone, I'll start making dinner, so that once I get everybody home, all we have to do is showers and the food is already made. I just have to actually warm it up and give it to them. Another tip for balancing being a mom of multiples, try to get your older children, depending on how old they are, as self-sufficient as possible. Not to say that they don't need mom or get them to the point that they never need you, right? Because that's almost impossible. But my older kids, they know where their clothes are. So if I say, hey, can you guys get your pajamas and night clothes and stuff out, they know where to go and get it. So I don't have to stop, you know, with the newborn and the 1-year-old to help find night clothes. They know what their rags look like in the bathroom. They know where their soap is in the bathroom. I've been teaching them how to bathe themselves. So I will sit in the bathroom with them and watch them shower to make sure that they're doing everything right and kind of coach them. If they miss anything, obviously I go behind them, but that's a way to kind of keep my hands free just a little bit. Like I said, I do pre-make meals, so when it comes to dinner time, I've already pretty much sorted everything onto their plates. I just have to throw it in the microwave. My kids know how to grab their plates off the counter or to sit at the counter or the bar, whatever you want to call it, this little area, and eat. They know how to grab their bottles of water when they're done and things like that. So just try to get some sort of independence going in your household, because it will help. It will help both you and them to kind of get on a routine. Speaking of, that is my final tip. Get a routine. I cannot stress that enough. Get a routine and try to follow it as much as possible. I know it's going to be difficult with a baby whose daily routine is changing often, but try to get a routine. What I mean by that is, if you're used to getting up every morning at 5:30, 6 a.m., stay consistent with it. Making sure the kids know what to do when they get up, as far as brush your teeth, wash their faces, and things like that. Just try to stay as consistent as possible within your day so that the kids never get confused. And Bub has woken up officially. He's about to eat. You guys, I took his sister's old blankets because I refuse to buy so many more. But yeah, he's gonna eat in a second. But yeah, you guys, where did I leave off at? Yeah, try to make a routine. Keep the kids as organized as possible. Keep organization for yourself. And if there's anything that I can say, let the kids help. If they want to help, at first it may seem like, oh my gosh, they're in the way. But, you know, teach them, right? My bigger kids like to help with bottles for the 1-year-old. They like to help get food for her. They like to pick out her outfits and things like that. If just 1 or 2 little small tasks that they can do helps you, let them do it. Obviously, you know, watch them while they do it, but you know, it creates those memories, and it really makes their day sometimes as well, because they feel like they got a chance to help, because you don't want them to feel left out now that you have another baby, like, oh, we've been forgotten about. She only pays attention to the baby. So try to find activities, even if it is just bonding with the babies, that the big kids can also help with, because it will keep everybody bonded in unison and, you know, just make the day that much smoother. Let them help. But that is really it, you guys. That is all the labor and delivery and postpartum questions that I had. If you guys have any other questions, definitely put them in the comments. If you want me to make a part 2 with some questions, put those in the comments as well, and I will try to make a part 2 for you guys, so that you know, all the mommies will know. Uh-oh, Bubba. But this is where I'm going to end this video, because he is hungry and it is time to feed. So I will catch you guys in the next one.